Now at 4:30 on WKYT this morning, investigators say it wasn't fit for anyone to be living there. They say they found two children locked inside a home with filthy conditions.
More than a week ago, a family of four was inside a trailer that completely blew over. Coming up, we'll tell you how they're doing.
And this morning, the latest after a woman struck by a car in a parking lot in Richmond at the Kroger store dies.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and it's great to have you with us on WKYT as we get this new day started. Here we are in the middle of the week, Wednesday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's get the latest check of the forecast with Micah right now.
Well, things look pretty good outside. I'm not seeing anything going on, so partly sunny skies expected today. Highs will be there in the low to mid 80s. Now, here's the deal. Even though we're in the low to mid 80s, we're going to be seeing that humidity drop off big time. That's why you're not going to see that chance of rain. We're at 65 in Covington. And then you work your way southbound right there at 72 in London, trying to get that nice, dry, cooler air down south. Today's forecast, 83, lower humidity, and also remaining dry. But as we get off toward tomorrow, remember yesterday it started looking like a little better chance there for Thursday. But I do have some really good news in the forecast. I'll explain that coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit. And in our news this morning, they were sent there to serve an arrest warrant, but instead, police say they found two children locked inside a small Powell County home with no air conditioning.
Police arrested the child's mother, Sarah Mullins, and Daryl Meadows. They say the children were alone at the time. Police say the home wasn't fit for anyone to be living there. Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation this morning.
It was a disturbing sight when investigators say they found an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old inside a padlocked room on Torrey Drive.
They had been locked in the room, and there was a note left in there from their mother basically stating that when they woke up to text her and just to let her know when she would come back and let them out of the room.
Their mother, Sarah Mullins, now faces charges of wanton endangerment and endangering the welfare of a minor. Daryl Meadows, who police say Mullins stayed there with, was also arrested. Trooper Veneman says the kids were living in filth, locked in a room of a camping trailer with no air conditioning and no running water.
Apparently there was some type of dog waste on the carpet there in the room, which the kids had been living in, as well as the only, I guess, light that they had in the room was a candle that we feel was used also to cover up the scent that was left from the dogs.
Trooper Veneman says they discovered during the investigation that this was not the first time this has happened. He says they believe it's been going on for about 6 weeks.
It's bad enough for an adult, any human being, to be living in a condition like that, but you know, when you look at the fact that there are minor children living in a residence like this and the door's locked, you know, obviously it's a place that they do not need to be.
Now they aren't. Trooper Veneman says Child Protective Services removed the kids from Mullins' care. In Powell County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And investigators say they also found signs that meth had been made in the home. The two are being held at the Powell County Detention Center.
This morning, investigators say they found a woman dead in a Knott County lake. Fish and Wildlife says her body was found around 7 last night near the dam of Carr Creek Lake. Her name has not been released, but investigators say she was 36 years old. An autopsy has been scheduled. Investigators say at this point they think the woman may have drowned.
More than a week ago this morning, a tornado and straight-line winds ripped through parts of Fleming County, and 4 people were inside a home when they were injured. It flipped over and was destroyed. This morning, we've learned that those people are all now out of the hospital, and the community is trying to help them to get back on their feet. Our Monique Blair has the story.
Something I don't want to go through again, I tell you.
Last Tuesday, the National Weather Service says a tornado and 100-mile-per-hour winds blew through Flemingsburg.
It's like 35 seconds, it's over with.
Richard Mitchell and his wife were watching the storm from inside their home, keeping an eye on Mitchell's auto repair garage and his in-laws' trailer home.
She seen the trailer start moving. She got behind, ducked down on the floor, and then she was going to go out the door, and I had to grab her because she was wanting to run down here, you know.
Mitchell's relatives, a family of 4, were all inside the trailer when it flipped and landed on top of his auto repair garage.
They would never answer me. Now I finally made it in her, my garage was, and she was laying, my toolbox was laying on her.
All 4 people were taken to UK Hospital, where they have since been released. I spoke with them, but they didn't want to go on camera because they're still very much dealing with their injuries, which range from a broken back to a broken leg.
They took a pretty good ride. beat and bang, but I think it'll be all right.
The cleanup process is still very active out here 1 week after the storm blew through this area, completely overturning a trailer that sat out here, and volunteers are even still finding valuable items through all this debris, like this set of keys.
Everything's been going pretty good. I had a lot of help. And I want to thank everybody for helping. I mean, I really appreciate it.
In Fleming County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And Mitchell says someone has offered to repair his auto repair garage for free. Hilltop Christian Church also held a special offering over the weekend to raise money for the family.
Well, this morning, a Johnson County dispatcher is talking about some of the calls she received during last week's flooding. Tasha Cook is a dispatcher with Paintsville Johnson County Emergency Management. She said the initial calls weren't out of the ordinary. People reported down trees, things like that. But soon, she says people reported seeing entire homes just floating away. Cook says she took a call from the daughter of a man who ended up dying in the flood.
She was behind the truck and the water was going underneath the truck, and it just swept him under. And they lost him after that. Didn't see him. That's the one that sticks out the most. That's the one I have nightmares about.
Well, dispatchers say they received more than 100 flood-related calls in the span of just a couple of hours. A lot of devastation there. The country music duo Sunday Best and singer Tyler Childers will help flood victims with a concert tonight. It begins at 7 at Johnson Central High School. While admission is free, organizers are asking for donations. All of the money raised during the concert will stay in Johnson County.
A woman who police say was hit by a car outside a Madison County grocery store has died. Witnesses say 89-year-old Christine Blakeman ended up pinned between two vehicles after an SUV hit her. This was in the parking lot of the Richmond Kroger on Monday. Police say she had just returned a shopping cart and was walking back to her car when the driver of the SUV backed into her. Blakeman died at UK Hospital a few hours later. Her neighbors say they often saw her outside her home.
But that little lady was either sweeping or on that carport or that front porch or working in the yard, trimming bushes or something. Very neat little lady.
The driver of the SUV talked to us off camera yesterday. She says she believes that she had a seizure just before hitting Blakeman and several more after being taken to the hospital. She also says she is sorry for what Blakeman's family is going through.
2 people face charges this morning after police say neighbors found a toddler alone in a parking lot. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office arrested 48-year-old Egbert Hensley and 43-year-old Mitzi Hensley. Police say some people saw a 1-year-old child alone outside apartments on Pine Grove Road. When police showed up, they say the child was inside one of the apartments. They say the child was supposed to be into the care of social services taken there and not the Hensleys. The 2 have been charged with custodial interference. Police say the child is now back with social services.
A man says that he was robbed by someone posing as a police officer in Harrison County. That happened Sunday night on US 62 near Cynthiana. The Harrison County Sheriff's Office says the victim was pulled over by a black Charger that had red and blue lights on it. But the driver got out, pulled a gun on the victim, and stole his wallet. Police say the robber then told him that is to drive off. Police have not made any arrests. They say the robber was wearing a dark blue uniform.
New this morning, Edgewood police say that missing teenager Bonita Hawks has been located. The 13-year-old went missing on July 17th at her Kenton County home. Yesterday, police said she left her home with a man she met on social media. Police have not released any more details on her condition or where they found her, but good that they found her.
All right. 4:39 is the time, and WKYT this morning on your Wednesday. We're just getting started.
Ready to hit the highway for a family road trip? Not until you've done this first. Mom's Everyday shows us how to get your car ready for the trip later in the show.
We're in the 60s and 70s outside. It kind of depends on where you are, but later on this afternoon, it won't matter. It is a really nice day in store. We do have a rain chance tomorrow, but then Friday through your weekend looks great. I'll have that latest forecast coming up.